All right. Testing, testing. There we go. All right, we're all set. Oh, what an exciting day that was. All right. I did my 1 hour stream of NHL. My brain wasn't exactly with it. I can't do my trick goal this year. You buggers at EA took it away from me, and I'm not impressed. Actually, I'm impressed. When a glitch goal stops working, it means that they fixed something, and it means that I'm fucked until I figure out a new glitch goal. I'm sorry. Every NHL game from 2004 till now, I've figured out a glitch goal. And it's, 1 year it was a defenseman shot from the point. It had to be exactly the right angle from exactly the right, had to be perfect. And after I got good at it, I was putting up scores of like 41-3. And I remember my kids like, Dad, how do you have fun with that? And I'm like, Henrik Sedin has 400 points. This is tremendous fun. And it would show career points. And I was obsessed with getting the career points of the Sedins to 1,000 each. That was my big thing. I was like, I have to get the Sedins to 1,000 points. Right now, years and years later, it's actually a lot easier to do it. But today, of course, I had to go to work. It was my 1 day weekend, and then today I had to go back to work. So I have a 6 day work week starting today. They're paying me $25 an hour because it's time and a half. Well, technically, $27 an hour, whatever. So I'm getting time and a half, $27 an hour. People right now are sitting at home doing their math, going, "Wow, he doesn't get paid very much." Um, but the boss said to me on Thursday, "You were only coming in to do first aid." And I said, well, I don't think I can do that. I'm a really hard worker and shipping's going to need my help. And I don't think I can just be a first aid attendant. And then when I left the office and after my rage and the bile settled, I thought, no, I can do this. So what I did this morning was I packed up this computer and the mouse and my music with the computer. And I proceeded to go to work, sit this in the first aid room. I went down and told my supervisor that if they needed help, they could call me. So 5 minutes after I got back to the first aid room, he peeks his head in the door and goes, "Can you help us for a while?" So I went down and I helped them for about an hour, and I was counting up how many totes of everything I was doing. And I was like, all right, I've made about a 200 tote difference or 150 tote difference, whatever it was. I figured out in my head in the hour and a half I was back there. And I looked at my phone, I looked at the time, and I went, well, the reinforcements are showing up in 5 minutes. I'm out of here. Because it was already a lot of the old shit was done, and a lot of the stuff they needed to get out of the way. Production starts at 5:50. I start in shipping at 4:20 to get all the old stuff from the day before out, because you have to do the old stuff first. This is meat. You can't have the old stuff sitting up in the racking while the new stuff's going out, and that happens, and it's frustrating as hell. When I see somebody picking something, I'm like, wait a minute, that's from today. There's old shit up. Oh, I didn't know there was old shit up in the racking. And then sometimes, depending on how new they are, they'll keep doing it. And it's like, no, stop. Because otherwise, we have old shit up in the racking. That'll come down tomorrow. And we're going to have to give it to the store for free because your best before date is useless. So, and it happens and it's frustrating. But so I helped them get a lot of the old shit done. I made sure they didn't have a whole lot up in the racking. And I was like, I'm out of here. So for the next 7 hours, I locked myself in that first aid room. I didn't have internet access. The internet access is very spotty at that point. The Wi-Fi doesn't connect. I didn't have text messaging either, so I was locked away from the world. Um, and I loaded up my book. I loaded up my music, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing. For the next 7 hours, minus 2 bathroom breaks, all I did was write. I wrote 11,000. Sorry, that came out a lot louder than it should. 11,000 words, 17 pages. My book is virtually done. Now, well, the action part is done. The way that I write science fiction, the action is sort of secondary to the storyline. So what I've done is I've had the action in this book set up the rest of the storyline. So for anybody who reads this, they could get up to about page 75 and go, wow, everything's resolved, and put it down. No, no, no. Not everything's resolved yet. So now I have to get into, I'm up to 56,000 words, and I'm aiming for 70,000 plus. So I'm basically left to wind it down and figure out how I'm going to redefine the power structure of the worlds in my books going into the next part. Because I think what I did was I had a, this is part five, and in part four, I don't think I like where I left everything. And in this one, I'm sort of reinvigorating everything, and I'm sort of rearranging all the pieces on the chessboard so that I can go to part six with a fresh look. Um, so that'll hopefully pan out. I've had some scenes I wrote today that I was very impressed with. I wrote them and I was like, wow, that's good. It was probably the best day of writing I've had in 5 years, and I would probably put it a little bit beyond some of that. And it reminded me of before I was involved with my ex-wife. I would do that. I would just write. I would load up music, I'd load up my book, and I would just write. The internet couldn't give two shits. I didn't care about anything. I would get enveloped in this world, and you have to when you're writing. And there's sort of some of that with this channel where I get enveloped in it, and I see it in other parts of my life where I'm at work and I'm constantly thinking about hockey stuff more than usual and from a different perspective. It's not just in my mind like, gee, I wonder if Tampa will win a cup. I wonder if the Capitals will win a cup. It's more of this guy was rumored to be signing, like Enroth. I did a video almost a week ago. Enroth's going to the Leafs. Still hasn't signed. So these video ideas in the back of my mind, like, well, geez, should I talk today about how Enroth still hasn't signed and where else might he go? And there's not a lot of interest there because there's not a lot of teams looking for a backup goaltender right now or a starter or anything. So yeah, that was my day, and then I get home and my son stayed out last night and he hadn't been texting me. So I tried sending him texts all day, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to turn on. There's a thing on my phone I hadn't turned on before, and I should have turned it on a long time ago, which basically is um, it tells me whether or not it's delivered. And my old phone did that by default, so I just didn't pay attention with the new phone. So I turned that on, and it's like unsuccessful. I'm like, all right. So I go to TELUS, and I'm like, oh, okay. So what it's doing is I put the unlimited messaging on my phone. It drops it from his. I put the unlimited messaging on his phone. It drops it from my account. Both accounts are tied to my name. They're two different phone numbers. It's the same phone, basically, just we have two different phone numbers. And for whatever reason, it is it's not jiving. So I'm gonna have to contact them about that, and I don't like to because I don't like to contact anybody. My Shaw Direct would have to be down for over a day before I would contact the satellite company. Because unlike cable, the one thing I like about satellite is odds are there's not a power outage in space. It's not going to be, well, there's a local outage in your area. In space? Because my broadcasts come from space. The drawback is snow. When you have this fantastic, wonderful, crystal clear technology that's bested by frozen water, that is frustrating. Although thunderstorms, it does warn me when there's a thunderstorm coming. It's pretty fantastic for that. Because if it's close and if it's a strong one, the whole screen, and I'm like, oh, thunderstorm. All right, that's good. Doesn't matter what I'm watching either. Um, but yeah, so that's where my head's at. That's why I'm recording a video late. I'm up later than I should be. It's a work night, but fuck it. It's a 6-day work week, and then I'm off next week. Boys and girls, I'm off next week. So, I finish my book and upload it next week. I proofread and upload it. I get some friends to help me proofread it as well. And then that'll hopefully start up some sales on the other books that I have up there as well. Because there are people who bought my books. I mean, I made $180 off of it because people bought them. It's just there hasn't been anything new for a long time, so they've probably just forgot about it. So with a new book out there, we never know. And I charge the lowest price that you can charge for a book on Amazon, just for the record. So anybody looks and goes, geez, he wants $3 for each book. That's the lowest price I can charge if I want to make an 80% revenue share. If I drop it to 99 cents, I make a 50% revenue share. And so it's 45 cents a book. So it takes like a lot of books for me to make enough money for a couple cans of pop. And that's if I take back empties. So, yeah. Hockey. My first impressions of NHL 17. The graphics are virtually identical to 16. The play-by-play is identical. I didn't expect new play-by-play. I know people are upset. I've already read that's one of the negatives is the play-by-play. I'm used to it now. I want Jim Houston back. I know people got sick of Jim Houston on the PS2, but I never did. I got a kick out of Jim Houston. I thought he was great. And I thought when he read the names of the French cities or German cities or any of these things in game, he sounded very good and passionate about it. And not joking around either. And when you had a goofy name for a team, he said it and he punched it out there. So when I have my goofy name team, and if it sounds like Emmerich's a robot saying the line or doesn't say anything, I think the most frustrating thing with NHL games with next gen, and this was happening with the 3 as well towards the end when Emmerich came in, is if you have a last name that's different, it's not in the list of possible said last names. And I even found with NHL 16 that if I want the announcers to actually say the name of the player I've created, I have to give them the name of one of the friggin' mascots, which is stupid. So my son had to be Boomer. He was Boomer. Boomer's nowhere near his name. At least I could have Noah as the name in the last gen game, and mine could be Shannon. It would be Noah pass the puck to Shannon. It was just great. And now it was Boomer to Slapshot, and it's like these are not. This is not. No, don't. I don't want to. I don't like this. This is bad. Um, but my general impression is that it looks like they're going back to 2004. Even the little popping noises the menu makes, that's NHL 2004. Those popping noises are going back 13 years. It's like here's something new, and what they've done is they've taken something old that was on the PC and on the PS2, and they've sort of bunched it together, ported that data over to the PS4, and now they're like, look, it's all brand new, and it's like it really isn't. You're really not bringing anything new to the table, and you're making me think maybe I should be getting MLB The Show and playing that instead. But I've already pre-ordered NHL. I'm not backing out because I got it for $50 on a pre-order E3 deal. But I am hedging my bets and thinking maybe I need to buy MLB The Show 16 because the MLB games are absolutely fantastic. They're absolutely amazing, and everything you can do with a franchise when you're running a franchise is just awesome, and I love those games. And I'm not even a baseball game guy. I think the last baseball game I really played and really loved, that was Super Nintendo, and that was Baseball Simulator 1000. That was the greatest baseball game ever. That game was absolutely awesome because you had like pitches that would explode. You had hits that would light anybody on fire that touched them. You had the one missile hit, which was like the ultimate cheat because it would just the ball would get punched out and you punched it out and anybody that stood in front of it like I'm going to catch it, they'd get hit and it would fling them right into the wall. And it was absolutely the greatest because I would have friends over and say, hey, you want to play baseball simulator? Sure. And I'd let them pick a really good team, and then I'd have like a custom team I made. And I wouldn't tell them about the specialty pitches and the specialty hits until we started playing. And I was like, why am I on fire? Why did that ball explode? And they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch it," and then why am I dead? It's like it was great. It was great. And then, I would tell them and I'd let them in on it, and then we would just, have this game where we lit each other on fire and we tried all kinds of really cool, weird pitches and of course, usually when you play baseball games with your friends, it turns into, okay, just throw the fucking pitch. Just fucking pitch. Can you throw a fucking strike? No, I'm tired of you hit everything. No, fuck you. That's why in the movie Swingers, when they're playing NHL 94 and the game descends into um, Vince Vaughn and Sue, the character, um, uh, having a fight on the floor, they're actually physically fighting with each other. That's how every video game session of NHL played out when I was a teenager. It would start with, yeah, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a play game. And then 10 minutes later, be like, you're going to do that shit? Fuck you. What the fuck? Like, come on, play fair. Like there'd be some cheese goal or some kind of glitch goal. Like, come on, don't do that shit. And then 10 minutes after that, it's controllers on the floor and you're swinging. Like it's just that's how that's how you play the game. That's how it's played. That's how teenage boys deal with things. And now you I don't know. It's different now. As much as my son rages, I very rarely see or hear any fights between him and his friends when they're over playing video games together. That's I guess something with my even Street Fighter there was raging. You'd have one character that somebody was really good at and be like, "You can't be Blanca." Okay, I'm going to be Blanca. You can't be Blanca. Why can't I? Because you're unstoppable. Well, fine then. I'll be Honda. No, I don't like you being Honda either. And that fight would continue. And then you go, okay, fine. I won't be Honda and Blanca. You can't be Ken or Ryu. Wait, what? No, I. That's not fair. And then the fight was on, and before you know it, you're both Balrog because he sucks. So, anyways, that's not hockey related either. Oh, shit, my brain's all over the place today. It really is. That NHL 17, I did that whole hour video. So if you're still watching this, why? I had a whole hour. Huh. And I'm wearing capitals. I wore this to work. I wore this to work because I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wear all white just to let people know I'm not working today. That's the key now. If I wear white, I'm not working today. And if they ask me to do it again, if they say you're losing your Saturday because we need you to work first aid, I'll be like, you got it, pals. Sure. And then I'll bring the webcam and I'll do YouTube videos all day. It'll be great. Of course, I'll have a bloody hard hat on and I'll look like a goon, but whatever. Uh, no, but there's not really a whole lot to report from the actual NHL right now. So what I intend to do, um, there was actually something in here about unrestricted free agents. Was that on the Hockey News or TSN? I'm trying to remember. Report linesman Henderson's career may be over after neck surgery following Weidman hit. See, that should be considered when it comes to the length of a suspension. It should. I mean, if it's a player and his career's over, people are calling for the head of Bertuzzi. I mean, or of whoever. But Weidman drills a linesman. If that linesman's career's over, shouldn't that affect how things work out? Okay, talking about arbitration, blah 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 blah. And then the Hockey News top 200 fantasy players for 2016-17. Let's go ahead and click on this. It's going to be all the usual suspects, obviously. I'm not sure why they're doing this because it's going to hurt the sales of their annual. Number 1, Patrick Kane. Oh, what a surprise. I'm not convinced he regresses to the 80-point range. He's always been an elite talent. Count on 90 plus. You know what? Patrick Kane had a very good year last year. There's no way in hell he's the number 1 scorer in the NHL next year. They've got him ranked at number 1. Why? Because he won the Art Ross last year. Sidney Crosby ranked number 2. I don't have a problem with that. Jamie Benn number 3. You know what? I would not be surprised if Jamie Benn goes to number 1. Wouldn't surprise me. Number 4, Connor McDavid. Really? Ahead of Tavares. I know McDavid had more than a point a game in his rookie year, but oh god, no, not an ad. No. No. Die. Die, ad, die. Shut up. I hate auto roll ads on web pages that don't give you the option to mute them right away. John Tavares, Alex Ovechkin, Tyler Sagan, Eric Carlson, Carey Price, Braden Holtby. I would put Holtby ahead of Price. If I'm drafting a fantasy draft tomorrow, I draft Holtby first, Price second as goaltenders because Holtby's healthy. Price hasn't proved he's healthy yet. Then Tarasenko, Pavelski, Goudreau. He has Burns at 15. I think that's high. I honestly think that Burns will have a bit of an adjustment. And I'm trying to find a way to say this that doesn't make it sound like I'm shit talking Burns. Brent Burns is one of the best defensemen in the league. But I think there'll be a market adjustment here. I think his point totals will drop because you can't maintain that as a defenseman. Although he's almost a Paul Coffey type defenseman at this stage. He plays up quite a bit. And they've got Stamkos at 14th, which is fine because you don't know about health with him either. Oh, where have they got a steal? Kucherov's at 21. You know what? I'm putting him ahead of Kopitar. Kopitar's at 20. I would put Kucherov ahead of Kopitar right now. And Backstrom's at 22. There's a steal. Even if he's Washington's number 2 center and doesn't always play with Ovi, Backstrom is great in his own right. We'll have good line mates regardless, and we'll still get major power play time. I think Backstrom will get 85 points next year. They have PK Subban at 28th. Oh no, they have Subban ranked ahead of Weber. Everybody's gonna die. Philip Forsberg at 30, Corey Schneider at 31. So good that even on a bad team, he carves out top 10 value at his position, as underrated as any player in hockey. I don't think Corey Schneider is underrated. Am I wrong? I don't think he's underrated at all. I think for those of us who watched him in Vancouver and for those watching him in Jersey, we know exactly what he is. He's one of the best goaltenders of his generation. Joe Thornton's at 33. Panarin's ahead of him. Wow, they rank Couture behind Thornton. See, I don't, and this is the thing too. It says finished 4th in points and 5th in MVP voting. Had his best season of 5 years at age 36. And that's the trick. He had a blip, and I think he's going to come back down. And then they have Corey Perry at 35. But they're also factoring in penalty minutes, which I don't know. Are there still pools that use penalty minutes? Are you in a pool that uses penalty minutes? It was a big thing back when there were more forwards that scored and got penalty minutes. There's not a whole lot of them now. See, here's what I don't get either. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, 21 goals, 55 points, 96 penalty minutes. Gorgeous. 41, and then at 42 he has McDavid, or not McDavid, Lucic, who says playing on a line with McDavid, he'd get 35, 35, 70. But Lucic will get more than 92 penalty minutes. So doesn't that make him a better fantasy pick than Larson? And if he gets 70 points, 35 goals, and penalty minutes, wouldn't he be ahead of McKinnon, who's at 40? Yeah. I don't get exactly how he figured this out. I haven't seen either of the Sedins yet either. And we're down to Marchand. I'm sorry, if you're going to take Marchand ahead of the Sedins, there's a problem. Where the frick are the Sedins? Seriously, you got Hoffman? Oh, don't make me use Control F. I hate using Control F. Yes, Link. Daniel Sedin is at 88th. Behind Huberdeau, behind Nash, behind Landeskog. Oh my god. And then what? Oh, come on. Catch up. I hate it when the computer does this. They have Torrey Krug at 102nd ahead of Draisaitl. Yeah. All right. Well, it's on the Hockey News site, so if you're curious, you can look at it there. I will do my own projection of what I think. Oh man, how would I do this? I'm not going to do hero ratings, so I'm not going to do like advanced stats. If you're looking for somebody who's going to project advanced stats, I think projecting advanced stats is damn near impossible because from one year to the next, advanced stats I would think can fluctuate more than points, goals, assists. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. But it's going to be fun. At least they're talking about what's going to happen next year. Technically, this coming season, it's only a couple months away. And I've got people accusing me of being a Capitals fan. Capitals fans are accusing me of being a Capitals fan. I'm a fan of this jersey. I am a fan of the team from the 80s. I want to believe. But they're the Capitals. And I said it at the start of the playoffs. I took a lot of shit for it. And I said it about the Blues at the start of the playoffs too. And I took a lot of shit for that too. And then Washington won first round. St. Louis won the first round. I got a lot of C. see, St. Louis is good, and here, you're wrong about the Capitals. They're the best team in the league, and they're going to win the cup. And I'm like, okay, they're the best team in the league, but not the best team in the league wins the cup every year. And that didn't go over well either. And it's true. You put any team together against another team in a 7-game series, it doesn't mean the best team is going to win. The smartest team is going to win. The team that makes the best adjustments is going to win. The team that sticks to their game and has the best plan is going to win. Because if being the best is the only way to win, then every year the President's Trophy winner should be the Stanley Cup champion. And it just doesn't work that way. Playoffs are a whole other beast. And I tried saying that at the start of the playoffs this past season, and I got grilled, and I stuck with it, and I'm sticking with it. So, regular season success does not equal playoff success, not in every case. And on that note, I am done for tonight.